one thing before I forget. In season 2, when that one dude that Starfire dated when she wasn't supposed to on Tamaran, because Tamaran rules anyway, he said that he voluntarily sent. There was a bunch of other Tamaran rules, but the main thing was that if he failed, he would die or some stuff like that. And the other part was that if he fails, they're just going to send more people. They never sent more people at all. Not even when they had not one, but 2 Tamaran and Unearths, Blackfire and Starfire. And they kind of just gloss over the fact that Blackfire murdered her parents. They talk about it, they talk about why, blah blah blah. But they gloss over that fact when she's about to head to the planet that she murdered her parents on. I seriously doubt they're gonna hear her out just because, well, she's supposed to be the actual queen. Like, okay. They just did not go in enough detail about it. Red Hood, I liked his voice. Jason honestly isn't the best on this show. He just isn't too much like his counterpart. He is at times like Jason and like Red Hood, but I don't know, I just don't really see the way he's portraying it, not the actual actor. The actor's fine. He's pretty entertaining, and he can pull off Jason pretty well at times. But sometimes he just doesn't do very good. Because they make, like, the stupidest shit happen. Hank and Dove was a decent episode, but I don't think they should have killed Hawk off that fast. No damn way should they have killed off a main character in the 3rd season, 3 episodes in. He was one of the first heroes. Because Hawk and Dove was like the fucking 2nd episode. And now Hank and Dove, he gets killed. This was a decent episode, but I really wish we would have got to see more of Dawn. Because after she kills Hank, she just kind of disappears. I completely forgot about why she left until in the newest episode, they're like, oh hey, she went to Paris. I mean, yeah, she killed her own boyfriend, so that kind of sucks. Especially since they broke up and they weren't technically dating anymore. But we have a guy that's trying to destroy the entire town, and you're just gonna disappear. She missed a lot of shit too. Her ex-boyfriend, Nightwing, got murdered. And then Donna got brought back to life. All this shit happened, and she's just kind of not doing anything. And Aqualad could have been used in this season multiple times, but they didn't use him. Maybe the actor didn't want to come, or I don't know. They have an episode that's literally about people being dead and in the afterlife. And we don't get to see Aqualad. They just mention him. Then we have another episode where Scarecrow mentions all the people that Dick has failed. They talk about how he failed Donna because she died. About how he failed Jason because he was tortured. And how he died too. And now how he's a murderer. And they also talk about Jericho, but they don't really talk about Aqualad. Because he kind of sent him into that trap. Not on purpose, unlike a lot of the other things he did. But He just did not help enough with Aqualad. Especially when he knew that Deathstroke was already a threat. Well, I mean, yeah, he didn't really fail him, but they still could have mentioned Aqualad in some point, because he's had a lot of people die on his hands. And I want to talk about Scarecrow. I did not care for him. Actor's fine, but the whole him smoking shit was kind of stupid. Him being a stoner. Why though? And I also didn't like the whole Scar thing that happens in like episode, I think 11. Like he just randomly cuts his face a bunch. I guess it's supposed to make the actor look scary, because this actor is not scary. That's kind of a big part of Scarecrow. Sure, he has the fear gas, but the dude is supposed to be creepy even without the fear gas. This actor just didn't really do it. I mean, he has like a moment or two that's kind of creepy, but he did not pull off Scarecrow well with what he was given anyway. I did not like this episode. We've already talked about how Nightwing and all of them have made their mistakes, but this episode is literally about them stealing shit and keeping it. They're like, oh yeah, they do it for kicks, but they usually keep the stuff they stole from stores, jewelry. They steal shit and they keep it. And we're supposed to be rooting for these heroes. Another Crane and Jason episode that was kind of boring. Honestly, even though people consider this to be the best season, I mean, the writing was a little bit better than the previous seasons, but to me, this was probably the most boring season I've seen. And oh yeah, Connor and Blackfire, that stupid shit. Them dating. I also didn't like how they kinda set up Blackfire as a villain in season 2. And then they just make her this misunderstood character. And Starfire and Blackfire don't even fight once. I really wanted to see a live action Starfire versus Blackfire battle. But all they did was have Starfire be rude to Blackfire, Blackfire guilt trip her, and then later she tells the whole story. And now they're friends again. And every now and then Starfire is rude to her again. And Blackfire is like, how dare you? I mean, why couldn't they have had at least one fight? And why hype her up as a villain if she's not going to do anything? Then Donna. This was a decent episode. But I'm pretty sure this is, no, that's not the episode. Yeah, we finally get to see Raven again. They didn't do too much with Raven besides the one episode. Or I think it was actually 2, where she's frustrated that they're making her do other stuff than save Donna. Then, that's a bad description. A dying dick. The dude was dead. He got shot in the head. Actually, in the neck. Anyway, I didn't really like how Jason and Dick meet. They do another 50 if one of them talking and shit. And then Dick gets shot in the neck by a guy that for some reason he doesn't take the gun. He's like, you're just a scared kid. And then he turns around, starts talking to Jason, and gets shot. And then the dude that shoots him is like, I did it for you, Jason. And then all of them start chanting, Red Hood, Red Hood, Red Hood. And then in the next episode, Red Hood is like, I killed Nightwing, and this is how you repay me, because like all the town are hiding and shit. Like, that's just so dumb, dude. The only problem I had with this episode... Actually, let me talk about this episode real quick. There's one thing I didn't like, besides that dumb shit. During that scene... Actually, not during that scene. There's a scene where Jason is running from Dick, and then there's the dumbest, most awkward cut ever. He just kind of, like, teleports, and then he's running in the other direction towards Dick after he was running away from him. Just such a dumb cut. And the only problem I had with this episode, obviously they can't, really do anything about it. But, in this episode, they make it pretty good. Like, in the Lazarus Pit, they're like, Scarecrow and this illusion shit when he's dying, and he sees Scarecrow, and Scarecrow's like, hey, Jason's on my team. Dick doesn't know that Jason betrayed Crane, and he's no longer working with him. So that was pretty smart of them to do that. But, he recently cut his, beard in the previous episode, but Dick hasn't seen him without his beard. But in the illusion, he doesn't have his beard. I thought that was a bit stupid if they're gonna, mention that, Jason is on Crane's side when he already betrayed him. But obviously Dick doesn't know that. So that was a smart thing to do. But him not to have his beard, a bit stupid. But obviously, he can't fix that. He shaved his hair. He can't do anything. The only thing they could have did was recorded that scene first. This episode was very anticlimactic. He gets stopped, almost 30 minutes in. And we still got 20 minutes left. You're gonna hype him up as this big villain. And his plans are super smart and shit. And what really ends up happening is they stop an alarm for going off. Because for some reason, even though Crane has changed all this shit, made it so they couldn't use Oracle, made it so they couldn't go to the police, made it so they couldn't do this and that. For some reason, he decided not to change the password for the alarms, and just left it as Jason's, even though Jason has left him multiple times, and this time it was for good. And what ends up happening is they just beat up a bunch of random cops. And then the kid with no training, Tim Drake, because right now he has no training. The only thing he does is have computers, and he's a bit of a fanboy in this. He doesn't have really training yet. He's not Robin yet. And Scarecrow ends up being defeated by getting punched by the teenager with no training. Yeah, the big bad literally had no final fight. Just a bunch of cops get beat up, and he gets punched. I did not care for this season.